A lot of you who watch my channel are thinking about moving to the Colombian countryside, rural Colombia. So today we're going to talk about 3 things that don't really exist, or at least where I live, in other small towns, small pueblos that I have lived in. So let's get right into it. So first thing that we're going to talk about is I have an address, but there's no mailman. We don't get mail. We don't have a mailbox. We don't have a traditional guy in the white truck delivering mail to your house and giving you all the junk mail, because we don't really need it anymore, right? With the internet and email, everything can be done on the internet. The second thing that does not basically doesn't really exist here in rural Colombia is fast food joints, convenience markets, or anything that you would associate with being open 24/7. Because in rural small town USA, maybe you have a almost 24-hour McDonald's, or you have a fast food joint that's open really late. Not 24/7, because even in rural USA it's really uncommon, but maybe it's open till 12, till 1, or the bars will serve like food late, right? No, you are not going to find a convenience store during the week open past maybe 9, 10, you're pushing it. The empanadas are considered fast food here, or like street foods, empanadas. These stalls in town on the weekends will be open maybe until 9. The Day Uno, I think, stays open till 9. And the other supermarkets are usually closed by 8. And yeah, bars will sell chips and stuff, but not like food. So convenience foods, 24-hour foods, you're just not going to find them. They just don't exist. We just don't have them. If this changes, I will update you, because I haven't been to every small town in Colombia. I've been to a lot. In the third and final, this is my favorite. This was a huge decision, a huge factor in me deciding to move to rural Colombia. And maybe if you're watching this and you're Colombian, you're going to tell me I'm wrong. But this is just how I see it from my point of view. The lack of regulation on your own property. We got a septic tank installed about a year ago. When we moved in, we got a new septic tank. The old septic tank was basically a plastic bin. I don't know if it's actually a septic system or if it was just a plastic bin, a plastic big old thing. I'm going to show you here. And, we moved in. We're like, okay, we'll replace it. No big deal. And, for me, I'm just thinking, okay, we already have one here. It's probably legal. Well, it didn't look legal, but I was like, okay, that's how they do it here. Whatever, I don't care. And so when we go to get this new one, we get this big fancy new one. I'll show you here. And a legit septic tank. And, it's going to do everything the proper way, the way it's supposed to be done. So I say to Rafa, I go, okay, well, to get this new system, do we need a permit? And he looks at me like I have lost my mind. He's like, what are you talking about? Why would we need a permit? It's your property. This is your land. The septic tank did not need a permit. And to build structures on our property, we don't need permits. If I want to build a cabin down there, I don't need a permit. I asked Ralph, I go, do I need permits? And he's like, no. He just is like, what are you talking about? Like, all these rules and regulations that we have in the U.S. is basically the government's way of staying in your business. Okay, I might make some of you mad right now. Maybe some of you don't know this about me, but one of the main reasons that I wanted to move here is the lack of regulation. I don't want the government I don't want anybody in my business. I don't want Big Brother. I don't want this new digital ID coming through the whatever. I moved here because I want to be fully off-grid. But to me, fully off-grid is, well, I'm going to do a whole video about that, I'll probably get rid of this channel. Everything. It would be like me hiding in the mountains with no electricity, no Wi-Fi. Yeah, I wanted to move somewhere that, okay, they do have, so if you actually look at the rules and laws and like regulations in Colombia, they're actually very strict. Like, I've looked them all up because I think it's important to know the rules so you know how to break them. And it's not even like people break them here, is people just do things. And the thing about the rules and regulations are they're just not enforced. They have them, but they don't have enough people working in my small town to come out here and be like, enforce any of the rules. So we actually had guys from the municipality come out to look at our wall. We want to put a retaining wall in here. And so Rafa has basically put in guadua, and that's what was here before. It's for the house. It's the retaining wall. And apparently that was approved for the building of the house, right? Okay, so that's, and the guys who came to look at it, they're like, what you have now looks fine. And they're like, it's a good thing you bought a house that had a piece of land that already has a house, because that's much easier to get permitted for. And we're like, but this house has permits. And they're like, oh, you're fine. It was like not a big deal. So, and we had to like ask these people to come out to look at our wall to see if we can put a different type of wall and whatnot, because that, putting the retaining wall with the house is a bit of a big deal. So they recommended structural engineers, and then they said, well, what you have is just fine. So we're like, okay. Anyway, so the lack of government involvement in your piece of land, especially when you live rurally. And I don't even think I live that rurally. I always say rural, but to me, this is not rural enough. Rural to me is like way up in those mountains, which is going to be my next piece of property. 3 things that basically do not exist in rural Colombia or the countryside of Colombia or living in a small pueblo. Hopefully you found this helpful. So if you're thinking of considering moving to rural Colombia, you know what to expect and what not to expect. And I understand a lot of you don't want to live like this far out. You want to have a finca, but you want to have everything, the conveniences still around you. Then I would recommend moving to a smaller city, not Medellin. Don't move to Medellin. I don't understand why everyone wants to move to Medellin. There are so many other great small cities to move to, and I'll do a whole video about it. And you can still have those things with the small town feel. These are my opinions, my experiences of living in Colombia as a foreigner. So everything I tell you is not 100% right. It's what I see. And this is why I make videos, to show you what I see as a foreigner living in a country that I have adapted as my new home. So drop me a comment. Have you lived in a small town? Do you live in a small town? Am I completely wrong? Or what other questions you have about small town living? Because I'm sure you didn't know that we don't have a mailman, or I don't have an address to get mail. So, okay, I'm gonna go. A couple of trees have fallen. Need to go get to work, and I'll see you guys in the next video.